Well, good evening. Yes, the reaction was immediate and spontaneous. People, the moment the tribunal's decision was published, people immediately just went on the street. They started protesting here in Warsaw, but also in other cities all around Poland. And they said they would not give up the fight. So just in less than in 1 hour, we're going to have another protest. And tomorrow, the leaders of the women's strike, so the initiative against this legislation, is organizing another protest, a large protest here in Warsaw in the center.
Clearly large numbers of people, not just women, who are against this. What are the women's rights campaigners saying? What are they asking for?
Well, first of all, it's all started from the abortion ban, because this new legislation banned practically 98% of all the legal abortions in Poland. So that was the start for the whole movement. But with the movement and the pandemic growing and all other problems that we have in Poland, of course, it grew into an anti-government movement. Let's say the LGBT plus community started to join. Also, we had protests that were supported by the business owner. They're affected by the pandemic, by the lockdowns, etc. So there was a lot of people actually very unhappy with current government and their decisions at the moment. And according to the statistics, 70% of the Polish population actually do support women's strike.
70% of the Polish population support what women are asking for.
Yes.
So basically what the government has done, from what I'm getting from that, what the government is doing goes against what the people want.
Well, yes, but they played it smart in a way. They didn't really vote on this legislation. They just diverted to the tribunal to take this decision. And with the tribunal's decision, it was actually on the tribunal to publish their decision. And it's on them, actually, the responsibility behind it. So the government is sort of trying not to show that they were also behind and they were also supporting this this new legislation, but people, of course, know who is the one ruling the country, because the Law and Justice Party has the majority in the parliament, and also we had the very controversial juridical reforms before, so they have basically no delusions about it.
The Law and Justice Party, as you say, with their own particular agenda, which is, of course, very much right-wing, very much leaning towards the Catholic Church and its strict doctrine on abortion. Magdalena Czerwoniak in Warsaw, thank you very much indeed. Let's now bring in another guest from Warsaw to comment further on this. She's Wanda Nowicka, who's a former Polish MP, founder and president of the Polish Federation for Women and Family Planning. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Wanda Nowicka. We appreciate your time. Can I have your reaction first to this change in, it seems,
Yes.
basically outlawing abortion almost overnight?
Okay, good afternoon. One correction, I'm also MP right now, so I'm a member of Polish Parliament.
Thank you for that precision, we appreciate that.
The rest, of course, was correct. As to my assessment of the situation, and not only mine, but of millions of Polish women, we are outraged, but we are not surprised, because we could expect, and we did expect, that this final act, which took place yesterday, will happen, meaning that this decision finally went into life. The decision of the de facto full ban on abortion, in particular the ban on of abortion due to fetal malformation, even lethal malformation. So women are saying that yesterday torture against women has been legalized. So as you probably could see, women and men together are going to the streets to demonstrate how they disagree with what's happening. And despite all the context, COVID context, winter context, it seems that people are so determined that they are going to continue going to the streets and demonstrate. The question is how the Polish government will react to that. Yesterday they were quite good. They did not attack or repress the demonstrators, but we may expect that like a couple weeks ago, the police was becoming more and more repressive against the peacefully demonstrating people in the streets. They charge them with sanctions, and actually it seems that they are using this opportunity to introduce more repressive mechanisms in order to make demonstrations and implementation of civic rights to demonstration and constitutional rights to be effective. Despite it seems that people are not going to surrender, and they are going to be in the streets. But of course, being in the streets, that's one aspect of the case. Also in Parliament, as a member of Parliament, working together with women's movements, I can say that next week, we together with women's groups, Polish left MPs, female MPs, we did prepare a program, draft legislation to legalize abortion. So we will start collect signatures, which will start the process of introducing and submitting the law which will legalize abortion. So I hope we will succeed in that. Probably the law won't be changed, but debate, I'm sure, will have an impact on the situation in the country.
So you have a two-pronged approach. There's the protests on the streets, and then there's the action politically within the Polish Parliament, which you are leading, which is probably the most effective way to go about it, I imagine. But in the meantime, Wanda, I imagine Polish women feel a great sense of injustice, but also some might be put in danger, mightn't they, in terms of having to try and seek a termination elsewhere, or maybe illegally?
Oh yes, because this legislation is going to have an enormous impact on everyday life of thousands of Polish women. Because the ban abortion we already do have, and we know that abortion on very limited so far legal indications was already very severe, and it forced women to go abroad or to decide on very risky behaviors, and now it will be a real disaster and tragedy. So women certainly will not stop abortions. Abortions are going to be more dangerous and less accessible, and will affect not only the life of women, but also of their families. So women are scared of that. That's the reason why people are in the streets, because this kind of law affects their everyday lives, like very little laws which usually are passed in Parliament. That's why this reaction is so strong, so emotional, and so broad, not only in big cities, but also in smaller parts of Poland.
Wanda Nowicka, thank you very much indeed for joining us and giving us your analysis of the situation, that explanation of why Polish women are on the streets right now protesting against this change in the law on abortions in Poland. Wanda Nowicka, Polish MP and founder and president of the Polish Federation for Women and Family Planning. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.